Welcome to my page on exploring working with me on a one-to-one. This is a quick intro around how it kind of looks like when it means working with me on a one-to-one, as opposed to engaging in one of my courses or as opposed to engaging in a container. One-to-one work is deeply transformational work. This work is around weaving in the pelvis through somatics and through nervous system work. What I see is a missing link between working with our bodies on a somatic level or on a nervous system based level without specifically acknowledging the pelvis. And the pelvis, when I speak to the pelvis, brings up a whole range of techniques and tools that we work with specifically when talking to the pelvis, specifically when talking to the anatomy of the pelvis. And what we also see in society is the shutdown of the pelvis, and equally so, the shutdown of our voice, as that is directly linked. So, what does it look like? It looks different for every person that steps into the space on a one-to-one. And what it looks like is working with the spiritual body, the acknowledgement of the spiritual body, the emotional body, and the physical body. If we are not weaving in the spiritual, the emotional, and the physical pieces, then we are not weaving in everything that needs to be met, acknowledged, and heard when it comes to this work with the pelvis. Often what I find is that someone steps into this space because of a physical challenge that they are navigating. This may be vaginismus, painful sex. It may be a pelvic floor dysfunction, although I'm not a massive fan of the word dysfunction. It may be that you have been through all the other avenues and you've landed here and nobody has given you the information, the holding, and the acknowledgement of everything that's needed in order for you to tend to yourself. The spaces that I create are a ceremonial space where we like to acknowledge the dance of the spiritual work and the work that is perhaps deemed more mainstream. So to work in this space, we have to be open to both, but we don't need to have been on any level of spiritual journey just yet. And it also may mean that you don't go on any level of spiritual journey. Although I will say that it often opens the door, or at least allows the door to be ajar for what it means to tend to ourselves on every level. This work that we do is not about me and is not about a guru. This work is around the work that you do for yourself and encouraging you to remember that you are the expert of your own body and that you do not need a speculum necessarily. You do not need another doctor to tell you that it's perhaps in your head, and you do not need to perhaps have another womb scrape out that didn't work the first time. It may also mean that you are here to acknowledge the journey with yourself, with self-intimacy, so that you can feel empowered when moving forward and stepping into relationships, whether the relationship with yourself, or whether a relationship with someone that is already in your life, or whether with new relationships, or even with friendships, or even with the relationships with your mother. This work is around self-tending and is around the relationship that you have with yourself, with your body. And this journey that you will go on if you say yes to yourself in this way will not look like anyone else's. It will not look like Sandra's down the road, and it will not look like the previous client that stepped before you. This journey is your journey, and this journey is so incredibly sacred and so incredibly precious to you. What I often find is that people go on this journey and they find that it's got no words. It's simply a sensation that arises within them, slight shifts. And these shifts add up because our nervous systems need gentle tending, gentle care. It is not around big shifts, huge changes. It is around gently unfurling so that this work becomes sustainable. The work is only sustainable when you work with your body in a way that's nervous system led and in a way that works with your pelvis, with your seasons, with where you're at. We meet you with where you're at in this work, which is why one-to-one work is so transformative anyway. So if you would like to explore this work, the way it works is quite specific. You simply follow the instructions on the landing page and give yourself time to be with the questions that arise and that come up for yourself and that are coming up through the application. And I so look forward to landing and talking with you and hearing about your journey, because that is the biggest honor for me doing this work, and the biggest gift for every woman that steps before you and steps after you. Every time a woman says yes to herself, she allows for another woman to say yes to herself. So thank you so much for being here. Sending love.